So what's going on, everybody? Henry Kaminski here from uniquedesignz.net, and I have a funny story to share with you today in regards to branding gone terribly wrong. And it was funny. One of my Facebook buddies reached out to me a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Dude, I think you should do a video on this because it's happening so often. I'm seeing it so often." Somebody's got to shed light on it. And you're the branding guy, you're the design guy. You have to talk about this. So he tells me this story about how he was helping this life coach, and the life coach needed help with marketing and so on and so forth. And the problem with the whole scenario was this life coach was extremely overweight. He wasn't very presentable. He didn't know how to dress. He just was a mess, in plain English, a complete mess. And for anybody who's trying to be a life coach, you would think that they would have their life under some sort of control. And when I was listening to him tell the story, I'm laughing because it kind of reminded me of the overweight and sloppy personal trainer trying to get out there and get more clients for his personal training business when he looks like a mess himself. And that is when branding goes terribly wrong. If you don't look the part, then how the hell is anyone ever going to trust that your product or service is even good or will even help them get what they want out of what it is that you're trying to sell? And my guy was struggling with his client because he said, "Dude, this is never going to work. It's like a dog trying to play himself off as a cat and a cat trying to play himself off as a dog. Like it's impossible. It's impossible." So that is one of the biggest things I'm seeing wrong these days is these people are trying to come out and deliver a product or service, but they don't have any experience really. They're a one-hit wonder, or they don't look the part. They're not playing the part themselves. One of the biggest things I realized over the course of a couple of months was the majority of the folks that are coming into my Branding on Demand program, they are all entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. They may have small businesses, 2 or 3 employees at most, but they all want to create that personal brand for themselves so that they could promote and market themselves more effectively and have them look more of the part, because they have a great product, they have a great service, but they're not being taken seriously because they're just not designers. They're just not branders. They don't know what they don't know, and that's okay. But the majority of the folks that are coming into this program are all these types of folks. Why? Well, I think it's pretty easy to understand that when you see me show up every day on social media and do what I do, it's me in the flesh. It's me doing exactly what I'm helping my clients do for themselves. I'm actually executing on what it is that I'm telling my clients to execute on every day. So there's no surprise why these folks are being drawn to the program, to me, and so on and so forth. I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. So if you're trying to be a life coach to somebody, it's probably not a good idea to look a mess and have your life, in shambles, because it's like, again, going back to that example of the sloppy personal trainer. Do you want to get trained by a sloppy person, or do you want to get trained by somebody who's fit, motivated, has a great diet routine, has a great workout routine, and actually is a walking specimen of what it is that you want to be. Right? So put yourself in the client, in your audience's shoes for a second and say, am I really coming across trustworthy enough? Am I really playing the part of what it is I'm trying to communicate to my audience? Because if you're not, the buck stops there. And so before you go spending thousands of dollars on stuff, marketing, take a step back and say, do I have my foundation laid properly before I take the next step? Because if you don't, that's when the time gets wasted. That's when the energy gets wasted. That's when the money gets wasted. So I'll keep this one short, guys, but this is a perfect example of branding going terribly wrong for somebody because they're not paying attention to the details and the fundamentals. So one of the first things that I do with my clients when they come on board is we do an analysis and we take a peek at what it is that they're currently doing. And I get to look at some of the leaks, some of the disconnects, some of the things that may not be apparent to them because they're so damn close. It was funny. My wife and I were on our way to a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I'm listening to Z100, and I hear Elvis Duran talking to an intern, and he's asking the intern questions about the other people on the morning show, and he was like, tell me one person, or tell me one thing about the show that you really, really like, or tell me one thing about the show that we overlook every day because we're in it. We do it every day. We're too close to it. And that was a perfect example of how entrepreneurs and business owners overlook those critical things that need to get the attention that they need in order for them to be effective in generating an audience, connecting their message to their audience. This is powerful stuff, guys. And if you overlook this simple step, you're screwing yourself royally. So if you want to be a life coach, make sure your stuff is in line. Make sure your life is in check and is operating on 12 cylinders, and you are a perfect example before you try to teach other people. Now, everybody's not perfect. I get that. But if you're not presentable, if you're not articulate, if you're overweight and just a mess, right? Like this particular individual was, chances are I'm going to take 3-second look at you and I'm going to say, I don't want this guy coaching my life. I don't want this woman coaching my life. That's what my subconscious tells me immediately when I see somebody like that. Instead, if I saw somebody that was dressed to the nines, looked sharp, was super articulate, spoke with intention, spoke with conviction, spoke with confidence, that's my life coach. Hope you get some value out of this, guys. Again, Henry Kaminski from UniqueDesignz.net. I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Have an awesome day. And just get out there and crush it. Talk soon.